Hello and welcome back to the Cookie Jar Golf podcast. I'm your host today, Sam Williams, and today I'm joined by Cal Wing.
Hello.
And Tom Mills. Guys, don't forget you can get in touch with us on @CookieJarGolf, and that's on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. We love hearing from all of our listeners, so don't forget to get in touch and don't forget to hit subscribe. We were speaking to some of the guys from McKenzie Golf Bags recently, and the story was really interesting, and we wanted to shoot just a short pod just to kind of share some of their stories. Nick, the president of McKenzie Golf Bags, has been involved with the company for some time, but you've got to go right back 35 years to the inception of McKenzie, and there's a really cool story, and I won't spoil the surprise in here, around the story and the growth and the kind of evolution of that company. McKenzie, for those that aren't aware, offer some seriously cool golf bags and stash. They are purveyors of very cool bespoke golf equipment. It's something that's highly artisanal, and I think offering something really unique and fresh in a very, very crowded marketplace. It was also really cool to kind of get Nick's take on the emergence of some of the new cool golf brands that are out there, and how that kind of whole attitude towards traditional kind of bags and apparel is changing, and how lifestyle brands are kind of featuring more and more in golf. So without further ado, we'll jump over to the pod. Hope you enjoy
this.
Nick, thanks for coming on the pod. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. How are you coping through lockdown at the moment?
We're doing pretty good. Given the circumstances, it's definitely been an adjustment to have people working from home. We've kind of got it set up where we're trying to keep it so there's no more than 2 or 3 people at the shop at any given time, and just be, safe and responsible, but try to keep the ship moving. So anybody that can work from home is working from home, and we're fortunate that a lot of our sewers actually have sewing machines at home, so they're able to take work home with them. And, there's obviously certain jobs, embroidery can't take the embroidery machines home with them. So we've got some people here, but we're doing okay, and feel very grateful to be doing okay.
I guess before we jump into McKenzie too much, Nick, it'd be really good to hear about your journey in golf, really, and kind of how you came into it, because heading up a really kind of cool niche business in the golf industry. How did that all come to pass? Where did it all start?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I grew up here in Portland, and my dad's side of the family is just a big golfing family. My grandpa is a big time golfer. My dad, big time golfer. My aunt is actually the golf coach at University of Washington. So golf's just been a big part of our family. So I grew up playing junior golf, and then actually played quite a bit of tennis through high school and college. And it was kind of after college that I turned to golf and, got the bug, so to speak, that we all, I'm sure, know about. But it was sort of, golf's always been in my family and always been of interest. But particularly in the last, 5 years post-college, it's been at the forefront of my interests for sure.
And when did you kind of get involved in working with McKenzie? Was that?
Sure. Yeah. I'll kind of give you that story. So that was almost 5 years ago. Are you guys familiar with the Evans Scholarship? It's a big caddy scholarship here in the United States. It's actually internationally, but it was started by a guy named Chick Evans, and they give scholarships to caddies. There's over like 10,000 kids that have been and alumni that have had help from the Evans Scholarship. So it's a big deal here. And that's how my dad went to college. And McKenzie donates a bag to the Evans auction every year. And my dad 5 years ago was at that auction and saw the golf bag. And it's a very long story, but bought the golf bag and ended up going in to design it, and loved the business and was very interested. At that point, he was kind of semi-retired, and thought it would be kind of a fun venture. And right at that time, I was graduating from college, so he sort of asked me if that was something I might be interested in assisting him with, which of course I said absolutely. So that was 5 years ago, and we sort of partnered together and have now bought the business outright, and have that. Yeah, it's been a heck of a journey, and just have been working with McKenzie now for 5 years. So that's kind of how it happened. Short version.
And the bags themselves are, I mean, there's probably a lot of our listeners now kind of scrambling to the website and having a look and checking out the stuff, and there's loads of time for that. But they're really old school. They really represent a real classic Walker style of golf bag. But a lot of the demographic, presumably a lot of your target market's actually more millennial golfer. Has the brand of McKenzie kind of ebbed and flowed? Like, take us back to the starting point of McKenzie bags? Where did that all start to come about from?
Yes, it's a very, very cool story. So there's a professional golfer from Portland named Peter Jacobson. And
he's a legend.
Yeah, he is a legend for sure. And so him and his brother David were playing at the old course in St. Andrews, and they were assigned a caddy named Rick McKenzie. And they had their big staff bags, and Rick asked Peter and David if it would be all right if he combined their sets into one set, and he put it in this little leather pencil bag that resembled kind of what a McKenzie looks like today. And Peter and David thought that bag was so cool. They were talking with Rick about it, and went through their round. And by the end of it, Peter was telling Rick, we're going to go back to Portland and we're going to start a golf bag company and we're going to name it after you. And Rick ended up giving them that golf bag, and he handed them his business card. And on that business card was the logo that we are using today, the sort of little barefoot McBaggins logo. That's the little kind of golf valet guy. So that was actually on Rick's business card. So that was 35 years ago. That's sort of the genesis story. They came back to Portland and deconstructed the bag, and sort of the McKenzie was born then in 1985, 1986. So, and then over the course of the years, it was Peter owned the business into the 90s, sold it, and it changed hands a few times. And now we're the fourth owners actually. But yeah, I think, like I said, the business changed hands a bunch of times, and, never really, I would say, thrived, kind of figured out how to be a healthy, sustainable business, but just survived on, I think, the quality of the product. I think people saw that and valued that, and that's what kind of allowed it to keep going for so long. But yeah, I guess to get back to your question, I think the brand of McKenzie has a long history, but I think since we got it just in the last few years, there has been a little bit of a shift, I think due in large part to Instagram and some of the really cool golf brands we've been able to kind of collaborate and partner with. I think there's a bit of a renaissance occurring in the golf industry right now. And we're fortunate to kind of have grabbed onto that at a good time, and it's helped our business kind of grow into what it's become as of late, that kind of renaissance, so to speak.
And I guess you sort of definitely put a modern spin on these things. I mean, not that these things aren't just sort of brown leather anymore, although those are lovely. I mean, but you're going into nylons, wax canvas, all the colors you want, they're there.
Yeah, definitely. I think, that the business was kind of ripe for that. The silhouette hasn't changed very much. It's been refined, lots of improvements. We're always trying to figure out how to make the bag lighter and more comfortable to carry and more durable, and always trying to tweak it. But the basic silhouette has sort of stayed the same. And just the fact that every bag is built to order, we don't really have a selection of inventory for people to choose from. We help you design a bag, and then we make it for you and ship it to you. It's kind of built into what we do to give people these options to sort of curate their own dream golf bag, so to speak. And I think we've just tried to lean into that, I guess, over the last few years. And it's sort of attracted a young, new kind of youthful crowd with respect to, like you mentioned, Cal, the classic brown leather McKenzie hasn't gone anywhere, and we still sell plenty of those to speak for. But yeah, I think we now kind of have that and the little bit more crazy stuff you might see with all the different colors and embroidery and bells and whistles.
What's the craziest bag order you've had? Have you ever had something come in
Ooh.
and you just say, "Oh no, I'm not"?
I think I know where this might be
Usually,
going.
One of those
I
max
think,
arm numbers, isn't it?
oh yeah, no, Max is great. That's really cool that you guys had him on the podcast. But yeah, I think usually, sometimes there's a little bit of, maybe compromise isn't the right word, but people come to us with these crazy ideas, and part of our job is to kind of help them turn their ideas into something we know we can do and are confident will look cool and serve them well for a long time. So sometimes we can't do exactly what you asked for, but we like to talk you through the process and end up somewhere that the customer's happy with and that we're confident is going to be a good looking, long lasting golf bag. But I guess one of the cooler ones that comes to mind, it was maybe 6 months ago, maybe a little more than that even. We had a gentleman that works for NASA reach out to us and wanted to do sort of a bright orange and kind of cobalt blue and gray NASA themed bag. And he actually had a flag that had been to space that we enclosed in the pocket. So this bag was bright orange and had the remove before flight tag on it and the NASA worm logo. And inside the pocket enclosed was a flag that had actually been to space. So
That's
that one
insane.
was pretty cool.
That's insane.
Wow.
I mean, also, I guess on the back of Max, obviously linking in with the Butt Club and the Sugarloaf Social guys, and who I mean, between them, they're coming up with some very, very cool designs. I think probably the most outrageous one I've seen. I didn't know the Space Story one. That's very cool. But I was just, I'm not sure. I was probably pretty shocked actually. There's Zach Blair's Louis Vuitton.
Oh
bag,
yeah!
which
Wow,
was
I didn't even think about that.
That was outrageous.
That was outrageous is a good word. I must admit, it was quite unnerving to deconstruct a $2,000 duffel bag in an effort to turn it into a golf bag. It was uncomfortable to say the least, but we managed to get it done. And Zach's great, and we've done a ton of cool projects with him, and it's certainly not lost on me, what the relationship with him has done to help grow our business. He's such an amazing guy, and Max is too, and they've got such a cool thing and cool community of golfers kind of surrounding and supporting the Buck Club. So yeah, that Louis Vuitton bag was one for the record books for sure. So we've had a couple people kind of reach out to us with their, designer products, wanting to turn them into golf bags as a result of that. So we've gotten a little more comfortable with the concept of taking those things apart.
Unbelievable. One of the things golfers, Nick, aren't really blessed with is customization in general, because for years and years, I think golfers have spent their life buying everything plastered in the manufacturer brand, or buying the same polo shirt or sweatshirt with a different club logo on, and handing that over to the customer to kind of customize and do it. Talk us through the process around how you kind of customize those bags, how they're made. Everything's kind of completely handmade, right? So how does that all kind of go through from an end-to-end sort of journey?
Sure. So it can kind of vary, from the person that would like us to do the creative heavy lifting and might say, I want my name and my logo, club logo or whatever on it, and you guys help me design something, to the person who's been brewing on getting a McKenzie for 6 months and has every little detail down to the stitching picked out. So it can vary, but generally, you'll see people kind of looking through the gallery or messing with the builder tool on our website, or, scrolling through Instagram until they kind of get a sense of what they might want their golf bag to look like. And then they'll reach out to us and we'll kind of have a conversation, and then we'll put a rendering together for them. So sort of a mock-up of what their golf bag would look like based on the conversation we've had. And at that point, they can either sign off on it, or if they want to change some things, edit, swap the colors, or maybe they don't like it and we scrap it and start over with something new. So that process can be quick or quite long, depending on, what the person's thinking and how specific they want to get. And once that's kind of taken care of and we have a signed off on a design, the bag goes out onto the production floor. So we have a shop here in Portland where we have just an amazingly talented team of craftsmen and women that put these golf bags together. And it I guess it starts in the back, and cutting rolls of canvas or hides of leather. Everything gets cut and skived and folded, and there's a lot that kind of goes into getting the kit, so to speak, prepared. So all the pieces are ready, and then the bag would go to embroidery and get embroidered and customized where it needs to there. Then it would kind of get in line to get sewn together. Then it goes back out into the warehouse and gets kind of checked to make sure everything's right, and finishing touches, zipper pulls and rivets in the divider, and then boxed up and shipped out the door. So it's it's a completely it's a process we have control over from start to finish. From designing the golf bag to making it and sending it out the door, it's our team that's there every step of the way.
These things are, as I said earlier, they're a work of art, and is the craftsmanship quite? Is it quite hard to find, because it's a skilled job, and it's something I look at and go, how the hell do you put that together from that?
Sure. Yeah. I can't take anything away from the skills of our craftsmen and women. They're truly amazing and really are highly skilled individuals. But that, coupled with the fact that we've been doing this for 35 years, I think, we have it down. And a lot of times, when we're hiring someone new, they might not know how to make our golf bag, obviously, but they have some skills, and we can teach them what they need to know through just the, experience of doing this for a long time. We've got it pretty well dialed in, and
it's passed on.
Yeah, definitely. And we learn from what's going on. It's not uncommon for us to see 25-year-old golf bags. The guy says, I want to get this thing tuned up, and we put the new divider, new zippers. They used to put these old metal frames in them, and we ditched those and have been using a carbon fiber batten for the last 10 years or so. So we can take that out and replace it, make the bag a little lighter and more comfortable to carry. So we learn from these things. When we see repairs or something, customer says something to us, we're always tinkering and tweaking and refining the golf bag to try and improve it. So while the bag that's 30 years old might, to the untrained eye, look identical to the bag that's made today, there are quite a number of little differences. If someone were kind of to walk you through it, you'd be like, oh yeah, okay, I see what's going on here. That is quite different, actually. So
it's understated but complicated behind the scenes, isn't it?
That's exactly it. It's over-engineered, but in a way that is seemingly a pretty, one pocket, one strap, put your clubs in it, single divider, and go on your merry way. So
to a non-golfer that was stealing a bag of clubs, they'd probably take the clubs and not the bag, because it just looks so. It looks like just old school.
It's funny that sort of thing. One of our employees, Ian Kreitzer, who's great, unfortunately his car got broken into a couple of weeks ago, and he had his skis in his car and his McKenzie and his golf clubs in his car, and the person that broke in took his skis and left the golf bag right behind. So he was bummed, but he was very happy that his golf bag was
jokes
left
on
behind.
Them, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
If it had been the Louis Vuitton bag,
that's right, Cal. If it was the Louis Vuitton one, I'm sure they would have looked twice.
You mentioned earlier on that you started off with the brown leather, and now you've gone into pretty much everything. What do you think the trend is doing now? What's becoming most popular in your brand?
I would say honestly, it's a pretty even divide from the kind of nylon bags, the wax canvas bags, and the leather bags. I would say, if anything, the wax canvas seems to be the most popular. It's kind of a nice middle ground. You get the kind of character that you get with a leather bag with a wax. When you buy a wax bag, it's going to kind of crinkle and crease and patina a little bit and get that look that's sort of that earned look, so to speak. But it's a little lighter. It's really good in wet weather. It's not quite as expensive as a as a full leather golf bag. So that's a nice little sweet spot, I think, that we've tapped into, that kind of checks a lot of boxes for people.
And I'm pretty sure I've seen some wholesale stuff, well, not wholesale, but like kind of trade, pro shop, club merchandise. I think Glen Eagles, I've seen some bespoke items.
Yep.
You guys, that's a big side of the business as well. You find clubs are kind of increasingly come to you for merchandise?
Yeah, I think in the past, that was kind of one of the big things I focused on kind of tweaking a little bit when I got involved. Was in the past, it was a very wholesale oriented business, using country clubs and pro shops to sell product, which is kind of inherently a challenge with the custom nature of our bags, kind of creating this communication triangle between the member and the pro and us. And it's a difficult way to kind of get the most out of what we can do. So I think we've made a sort of a little bit of a shift in trying to grow our Instagram presence and use that as a way to communicate directly with our customers and kind of sell more directly to our customers. Of course, still doing, if any pro shop or country club wants a golf bag, we're happy to help them out. But I think there's been a little bit of a shift as far as where we're placing our attention, from the wholesale side of the business to the direct to consumer. That being said, I think we found that when we focus on that retail side of the business, when someone at whatever country club wants a golf bag, they want it because they've seen it on Instagram or they've seen their buddy has one, and they walk into the pro shop, and then the pro shop reaches out to us, and we're happy to assist with that. So we've kind of kept the wholesale business going that way when we've actually placed our attention on the direct to consumer side, and it's kind of worked well. I think it was a good sort of shift for us, and has contributed to the sort of growth we've had.
And I suppose when there's so much customization built into the product and the business model as well, it's kind of goes with the territory, I guess, rather than, hey, that's got, and it's funny, I think over time you're seeing golfers, and it will come on to what we're probably going to talk about next, which is people are increasingly looking to have their own kind of customization around the gear and merchandise they buy, and not so much just about having something with a club emblem on because it just tells people that they've been to that club. That seems to be like a sort of a slightly waning trend, and having something that's more built around people's kind of own identity seems to be bigger and bigger.
Definitely. And I think too, like, you change your driver every couple years. You always got a different shirt and different hat on. An overlooked thing is kind of how steady and essential a golf bag is to someone's sort of kit. That's kind of the consistent thing. Your clubs change, your clothes change. The golf bag is kind of always there, especially if it lasts a long time. And to have that be sort of a canvas for, like you said, Sam, to kind of express who they are and what they like and the colors they want and the logos they want. And it's kind of it becomes this kind of part of your golfing kit, and you start to have a bunch of fun memories with that golf bag, and before you know it, it's extra special to you, and you don't even want to get a new one because that one has been with you on all your fun adventures.
I think what's quite interesting, you talk about it there, is that golf's going through a bit of a renaissance in terms of all of this stuff. It's got a number of different names and how, but the whole influence around some of these new lifestyle brands, a lot of the companies that you'll be aware of yourselves, the introduction of new and quirky different courses, obviously places like Pinehurst, Sweetens Cove, Bandon, Cabot, these are all kind of becoming like the new mecca in golf. What's driving this kind of massive shift in trend that we're seeing? Because I feel like we're maybe a year or two behind in the UK on this, but we are starting to see some of this come through in certain circles.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I'm not sure I'm super qualified to give a profound answer to that. But
neither are we, but we have a good go.
I really. I couldn't tell you, to be completely honest, but I think that for me personally, there's so much there's so much like rich history and cool. There's so much cool stuff that about golf that kind of got overshadowed for a while or became kind of like not mainstream. You have, all the technology and the gear, and the ball goes farther, and you kind of had all these people interested in all that stuff, and the kind of architecture and the kind of niche interests of golf were overshadowed for a while. And for whatever reason, I think there's a little bit of light being shed on that now, with kind of the places like you mentioned. I think Sweetens Cove is a really awesome example of, and the growth and they've experienced, and the kind of new founding members, and it's kind of blowing up. And not too long ago, that was just a kind of little well-kept secret that not everybody knew about. So I think for whatever reason, there's just this shift to shedding a little bit of light on the kind of things that probably the four of us love about golf. And I can't give you a really educated reason as to why, but I can tell you that I'm really happy it's occurring.
Well, I think it's really interesting, isn't it? Because I think if you go back maybe 10 years ago, the only way that you could consume golf was through TV and the advertising they provided you. And then social media sort of comes along and absolutely turbocharges these businesses like yourselves that have really driven the growth in this sort of niche aspect of the industry that perhaps people just weren't aware existed in the first place. Now you've got a plethora of these sort of companies that have come out of the woodwork that are providing such cool individual products. And I think, how do you think the sort of social media boom in the last sort of 10 years has affected yourself?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Tom. I think it's been huge for us. It's like I was saying, it's not lost on me, what the impact that kind of getting to do stuff with the Sugarloaf Social Club guys and the Buck Club and No Lane Up, and being able to kind of partner with them and do cool stuff has just been huge for us, because it's really helped us grow our Instagram presence, and kind of I think helped the kind of younger generation kind of discover the what we do and decide for themselves if that's something they kind of like. And it's just been massive. I think that Instagram has turned into our probably our number one kind of selling and communication tool. It's for a brand like ours that is so visual. You can't really describe a McKenzie to someone to do it justice. You really have to see it in person and touch it and feel it. But a close second to that is an engaging picture of our golf bags. So it's a perfect medium for us to just. It's not that complicated. We just take pictures of what we make and show our followers. And we don't really have like a paid for Instagram campaign or anything like that. We just take pictures of what we do and put it on Instagram. And it's been sort of a healthy, organic snowball growth of followers. And it's such a dynamic way for us to communicate with people. People are messaging us and asking us questions, and we get to reference pictures and send them more pictures. And it's a perfect platform for us to show what we do and also communicate with people who are interested in what we do.
And when did the penny drop in terms of social media? When was it? You said you used to be a big sort of sell into the country clubs and do that sort of thing, and then you realized you could sell directly to consumer.
I actually started our Instagram. So from 0 to what we are now. And that was, 3+ years ago. And I think
so fairly recent.
So yeah, definitely. It's, up until Instagram, we sort of survived on word of mouth, we still do, to be completely honest. That you walk out onto a tee box and a guy's got a sweet looking McKenzie, and you happen to ask him about it, he's going to tell you about it. And we have such an amazing, loyal kind of family of customers and friends that appreciate what we do and are willing to tell people about it. So that over since the beginning has been just such a massive part. Like I said, seeing a McKenzie in person is a different experience than seeing a picture of it or hearing about it. So that's been big, but it's definitely been in the last 3+ years, 3 to maybe 4 years, that the Instagram has sort of taken off and been a really valuable tool for us.
Awesome. And you've recently gone down the head cover route as well.
Yeah, that's right. So we bought that knit head cover business. We were chatting about 4U. It's such a terribly punny name that we had to stick with it. It's just we're keeping it. We definitely debated, but I was like, you know what? It's almost so bad it's good. So we're sticking with it. And so that for us is where we have a lot of, that's more of a wholesale business for us. And being able to kind of weave the McKenzie relationships and whatnot with the country clubs and the kind of new knit head cover business that we bought about 1.5 years ago has been great. So you're going to see those in pro shops, and that's kind of the focus for that little arm of the brands that we have. Whereas, McKenzie's probably a little more focused on the direct to consumer.
And are they staying just knit, or are they going into wax canvas and leather as well on head covers?
So we have a whole line of accessories with McKenzie. It's sort of, gets overshadowed by the golf bags a little bit, but we have an amazing line of leather head covers and valuables pouches, shoe bags, and all that. So, we have that on the McKenzie side of things, but as for 4U as it stands, that's just the knit head covers.
You're not drifting into the iron cover business anytime soon then, Nick?
I can't say that we have any plans for that, but are you an iron cover guy, Sam?
No, you're not talking to 3 iron cover guys.
Big no.
It's the cardinal sin globally, I think, that one. So.
I'm happy to hear you say that. Actually, I was going to say
one way to ruin a McKenzie, I bet, is seeing one with iron covers.
Yeah, I can't say that I've seen one of those, but we have no plans for developing iron covers
and a ball retriever slot as well, something like that. Yeah, we like to have some fun. Cool. And you getting out on the course much? You still play quite a bit of golf, or?
Yeah, we've been super fortunate. The golf has stayed open in the state of Oregon, and Bandon Dunes actually just opened on Monday, 2 days ago. So they reopened. So I'm actually heading down with my brother and one of our employees, Ian, the guy whose skis got stolen. We're all heading down to Bandon this weekend, actually, to get a little bit of golf in. So it's been a nice reprieve from the quarantine lifestyle, is getting out on the golf course. So we've been taking advantage of that for sure.
Is that your place of favor, Bandon, or do you kind of have a local track closer to you in Portland?
Yeah, I play quite a bit in Portland. My folks are members at a club called Waverly out here, and I actually just joined Portland Golf Club about a month ago, so I'm super excited about that and taking advantage of that. But Bandon is absolutely amazing. I can't say a bad thing about it. It's spectacular. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. And it's 3.5 hours away from Portland. So we every chance we get, we like to go down there and escape for the weekend.
I love that 3.5 hours to use like a short hop. For us, that's like pack a bag. You're going for 2 weeks, so 3.5 hours.
Well, 3.5. I mean, it's not right around the corner, but it's certainly nothing to bat an eye at if you're going to go down there and pack in 3 or 4 rounds in a weekend and come back. It's well worth the trip for sure.
Have you done the sheep ranch down there?
So there, I think the official opening is June 1.
Because they're turning it into a course, aren't they? It was like this
14
sort of communal play to multiple green complexes idea, and now they're
right. I'm no expert or Bandon historian, but to my knowledge, it was this cool property north of the Bandon property that was owned by a gentleman that had a good relationship with Bandon, and it was sort of like this playground that was like this little secret that if you kind of got in touch with them, you could basically rent the sheep ranch for a day, and you'd go out there with your 8 or 12 buddies, and no one else would be out there. There's no tee boxes. You just throw balls down and hit it around to the greens wherever you want and just mess around. It was literally a giant playground, no bunkers, just green complexes, and people would go out there and hack it around. And then just recently, as you well know, the Bandon purchased that land and has developed the new Core Crenshaw Sheep Ranch golf course. So I am unbelievably excited to get out there and get a look at it. So I think they're kind of letting a limited amount of people out there right now for kind of preview play. So we've thrown our name into the hat, but I have no idea whether we'll get out there. But in the back of my mind, I'm really, really hoping that we do.
Perks of the job by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think we're just like everybody else who wants to play Sheep Ranch. I can imagine they're fielding lots of requests. So we have no expectations, but if we do get a chance to get out there, that would be pretty amazing. But if we don't, we'll settle for 3 spectacular rounds and a round on the preserve, and it's not that bad to go up there and not play Sheep Ranch.
And what's the go-to bag for yourself? Are you a leather, a nylon, or a wax canvas guy?
Admittedly, I have a small rotation of golf bags that I sub in and out, but yeah, I honestly like to mix it up. I think different 1 pocket, 2 pocket, 8-inch, 7-inch, different materials. I've kind of I gotta test the product. I need to have my own informed opinion about each combination. So, but yeah, right. I generally find that I'm content with a Sunday walker. So our smaller bag, it's the 7-inch opening and 1 pocket. I honestly will I put a full set in it, and I find myself taking 4 or 5 clubs out pretty often and playing with 9 or 10 clubs. And I enjoy taking less stuff and not taking it too seriously, I guess.
And when you go half a set, are you going odds or evens?
That's a great question. I go back and forth. Right now, I'm on the odds. I've found that I kind of go like 5, 7, 9, and maybe a gap wedge and a lob wedge, and I'll take a 3 hybrid and a driver or something like that. But I do like to mix it up. It's interesting. I've also found that like I kind of shoot like 80 or whatever, whether I have 14 clubs or 9 clubs. It's like I'm just not
diminishing
that good.
returns, isn't it? You could take 25 out with you, wouldn't score any lower.
That's exactly right. And I honestly, it kind of takes. I don't feel like it's that often that I'm just absolutely like dead to rights in between 2 clubs where I just like feel like I have no shot. It's kind of most of the time you'd hardly even notice. I think whatever the degree difference is between 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it seems arbitrary. Why can't it be a little bit bigger? And I don't know. I don't know, but it works for me, and I enjoy carrying a light bag. And
exactly,
yeah, that's fun. It's fun.
Exactly. Well, you've been very generous with your time, and thank you.
Yeah, you guys, thank you very much. I enjoyed talking to you, and appreciate you having me on. And if you guys ever find yourselves on the West Coast or anywhere close to striking distance to Bandon, I highly suggest you go, and definitely give me a holler if you're ever over in our neck of the woods.
We'll give you a shout. We'll give Max a shout, and we'll
there you go. Yeah,
get a bit of Ryder Cup style going or something like that.
There you go. That'd be fun.
Thank you so much, Nick, for coming on. And we think what you guys are doing is really exciting. The products are absolutely awesome, and we just hope to see a lot more golfers out in the UK and out on the shores sporting McKenzie hopefully soon. So yeah, massive thank you for coming on, and hope you get through the pandemic and everything safe and sound.
Same to you guys. Thank you very much for the kind words, and good health to all of you, and hopefully we'll chat again soon.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for coming on.
This.